the top 10 UFC debuts in 2025.
I see my haters proud of me now. When I'm around, it's all smiles. I took over my whole town.
To kick this thing off, I'm going to go ahead and set a couple ground rules of how I came up with this list. I have made this list pretty much because however I felt when I seen you fight, it was pretty much how much do I want to see you fight again. It didn't matter if you was on a numbered event or you was in Apex. If your knockout was like that and I enjoyed it a lot, you're probably going to be higher on this list. So with that being said, number 10 on my list, the war of all wars, the one round war of the year so far, or of the year in my opinion, we have IOU TA. You're talking about a light heavyweight fight that had the same repercussions of a Pat Barry and Chet Congo so long ago. This fight was so fun from bell to the end of the first round. The end of the first round didn't even happen. Both of these guys had multiple knockdowns. Both of these guys had multiple times where the fight probably could have been stopped, but it was finally stopped with IOU TA. Caught him with a right hand and hit him with some not so much vicious ground and pound, because I'm assuming both of them guys was dog tired after that 2-minute blitz. But that fight was very entertaining for as long as it lasted. And number 10 on my list is IOU TA. At number 9 on my list, we have somebody that I was very excited to see him come to the UFC finally. This man was a champion at another high-level organization over there in Bellator, and this man is Mr. Yaroslav Amosov. Yaroslav Amosov was able to come into the UFC and beat the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers, Neil Magny, somebody they keep on the UFC roster simply to check the UFC newcomers coming in. I'm pretty sure that's on his next contract of Neil Magny's, but Yaroslav Amosov was able to pass that test with flying colors as he was able to secure an anaconda choke in the very first round against one of the best gatekeepers in UFC history. At number 8 on my list, we are talking about somebody that came into the UFC on a massive finishing streak, and this man is Mr. Jose Delgado. Jose Delgado was able to dispatch Conor Matthews in the very first round, and he is on this list because he seemed like one of the more fluent fighters on the feet in his debut, and I was really excited to see him come out, and he was able to follow up this performance with a win over Hyder Emil. Now, he did lose his next fight against Nathaniel Wood, but that is a pretty big jump up for him, but I was still happy with this man, Jose Delgado's debut, and that's why he's number 8 on my list. At number 7 on my list, we have a bantamweight, and this bantamweight looked like he knows how to gauge range and distance at the highest level already, and we are taking Mr. David Black Spartan Martinez. This man, David Martinez, had to deal with a whole lot of spinning attack attempts in his very first fight in his UFC, and he was able to just pretty much dial it in pretty easily, and he was able to eventually catch him with a left high kick, followed it up with a knee, and followed it up with brutal ground and pound, getting the first round TKO knockout win over Simon Oliveira. And this man, David Martinez, followed that up with a main event slot, with a successful main event slot over Rob Font, and I think David Martinez is set to have a very good 2026. At number 6 on my list, we have one of the UFC bigger prospect gets in 2025. We have the former Cage Warriors champion. We got Mr. Luke Riley. In Luke Riley's first round in the UFC, it looked like he was just going to get wrestled the entire time, and he didn't really have any type of answer for it. But the second round, this man, Luke Riley, was able to slip a right hand from Bogdangrad and throw a hellacious left hook that absolutely floored Bogdangrad. Man will spin around, do a herky-turkey, and this man, Luke Riley, is looking like a real deal coming to the UFC, and I cannot wait to see what his 2026 looks like. At number 5 on my list, this man has the power of all power at middleweight. He has been compared to one of the heaviest strikers in UFC history, and Francis Ngannou, and we are talking about Mr. Atiba Gutiérrez. Atiba Gutierrez made his UFC debut against somebody who was known to take an ass whooping, and Atiba Gutierrez was able to dispatch up that man in the very first round. As Medina said, come on, bring it. Atiba Gutierrez brought it. That man Medina's chin just couldn't hold up to Atiba Gutierrez's power. Atiba Gutierrez is looking like the real deal at middleweight, and his 2026 to go through the roof. At number 4 on my list, we have Zombies Jr., and this made Joo-sang as one of the most picture-perfect knockouts of 2025. You can't really picture a better knockout for your UFC debut than Joo-sang, the left hook that absolutely floored Jinka Sinka. I know I probably said his name wrong, my bad. It absolutely floored him face first. There was no follow-up shots necessary. That man was done out for, and Joo-sang is coming in at number 4 in my best UFC debuts of 2025. Number 3 on my list, this man was going from a full-time trade job to the UFC octagon in 1 year, and he knocked off one of the bigger prospects at 135 pounds at a time, and we are talking about Mr. Malcolm Wellmaker. Man, Malcolm Wellmaker was able to catch Cam Shamman's chin with a right hook that has been patented in UFC so far, in the Contender Series, and his career so far. This man, Malcolm Wellmaker, absolutely stunned the world, flooring Cameron Shamman the way he did. Mostly, Cameron Shamman fought really tough guys like Peyton Talbot and put him some fight, but this man, Malcolm Wellmaker, was able to find the button in the very first round, and he is able to cap off his UFC debut with a successful round 1 knockout. At number 2 on my list, we have a fighter from down under, and we have one of the funniest fighters of the roster. We've taken Quillen Salkeld. Whenever you're able to win a fight in under a minute, it is very impressive. But when you're able to win a fight in under 30 seconds, it's even more impressive, as he was able to just absolutely floor Absolute Jubilee in the very first round, and Jubilee just wasn't able to get back up and give him any type of fits in that fight. So number 2 on my list, I am taking Quillen Salkeld. Before we get to number 1 on my list, here's my honorable mentions. There's some really good UFC debuts this year, but number 1 on my list, it reminded me of one of my favorite fighter knockouts ever. I am taking Mr. Elijah Smith. There's not really too many ways to get out of submissions that are looking that tight, but Elijah Smith reached back into the pride days, said, you know what, I watched Rampage Jackson growing up, and he was able to absolutely power bomb his opponent through the octagon. He was out cold immediately. His legs was over the head. It was pretty bad. Elijah Smith just finished the fight the way you would want to finish a fight in your UFC debut. I think he had the most impressive debut in the UFC this year. What did you guys think? Who do you think I left off this list? Who do y'all think should be on the list? Let me know down below in the comments. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Big people, peace.